I think as women we're taught that like if you have to be soft, you have to be gentle, you have to tend to be a little bit louder than, your male counterparts.
There definitely is a standard that you do need to meet if you are going to be a woman in leadership.
So leadership to me, I think, is allowing everyone on your team and in your community to be to reach their best potential. And I think that's kind of sometimes a fault people have. They kind of take the power onto themselves and don't allow other people to grow while they are a leader. And I think that sometimes is a style of leadership people have. They kind of just take over the situation instead of empowering other people. And I try to empower other people and, like I said, delegate responsibilities and allow people to kind of explore their own interests while I'm a leader. And I think that's kind of how I want to grow into a leader as I continue to grow into my career.
So I think when we think about, a lot of people think leadership is all about like, well, I don't want to necessarily manage people. I don't want to have this assertive personality. I'm not extroverted. I don't want to be telling people what to do. Like, again, that is not what leadership is.
I think there are definitely different ways and approaches to being a leader, but I think first and foremost, particularly on a college campus, it is sort of supporting and meeting students where they are, so whether that is your fellow students or, in my case now, undergraduate students, in their journeys and sort of progressing through them while also fighting for what may not be there but needs to be there. And so a lot of that advocacy work, the programming work, is intended towards these goals to better the institution for everyone. I think it's important to see women in these roles because it sort of puts into perspective that this is something that people can see future careers in, future lives in, but more so because this system, for the most part, is not built for women to be in these roles, and it's not, our world isn't built for women to be in these roles, and so this is a stepping stone to future roles, and by women being in those leadership roles, it draws in other women to then be involved in other capacities or in that same capacity going forward.
Right, so I always tell, everybody, right, you can't believe it if you don't see it, right? So it's like, I think it's important for other people to see something and to aspire. It's this whole idea of role models.
I think having women in any position of leadership is important because it gives people role models and an inspiration and the opportunity for someone to look up to and see yourself. You can see yourself in similar positions as you get older and as you grow.
When there's people that you can look up to and that are making these decisions that impact a bunch of other people, it's super inspiring.
I think being a leader is someone who just don't let much life happen to you, right? You're trying to shape your life. And so instead of us seeing leadership as this manager, tell you what to do, see it more as leaders are people that try to grow and they try to influence the course of their own lives. And I feel that being able to do that in your personal life and professional life, it really leads to a lot of overall well-being and good things in your life.
A lot of the time women talk about being seen as emotional in positions of leadership, and sometimes you feel like, oh, they're just being over dramatic or they're being emotional about this.
You have to tend to be a little bit louder than, your male counterparts.
I think just being taken seriously. I know that sometimes women aren't taken as seriously as men are, and I also think that sometimes we're under a much, I'm trying to think of the word, we're under a whole other lens than some men's organizations are. Or male dominant organizations are. So I think that, there definitely is a standard that you do need to meet if you are going to be a woman in leadership.
I think the biggest challenge is walking the tricky line of being heard but also not burning the bridges. And clearly I did that good at sometimes and not good at others, but because being a woman in a leadership role is so against the norm, you have to walk the line of fitting some of those molds when having these conversations, when you're making asks, but also recognizing that fitting those molds is not what you're meant to be as a leader, because the system was never built for you. And so it is walking that tricky line and learning how to play the system, but also not let the system take advantage and shut you down.
I think no matter what, women will get judged for everything they do. So what they wear to work, whether they want to negotiate for a higher salary, if they're coming on too strong, then they're a bitch. And if they're coming on too weak, then they're passive and they're submissive.
I started my freshman year doing absolutely nothing. I came into college with a 3-hour commute each way and said no thank you to any type of leadership. And I quickly learned that was not my path here, and part of what made me stay was these leadership roles. I started with the Muslim Student Association, the MSA. My freshman year I was kind of on and off involved with Commuter Student Association, just because they had free coffee, and that was a move. And then I quickly grew to see the kind of advocacy that it could do. And then I picked up some other roles like here and there in what I was interested. I went on the Kairos retreat the spring of my junior year, and it was life-changing because it sort of put into perspective for me what leadership roles I needed to stay in for my joy of it, but also the transition that needed to happen in some of those roles. And with that kind of gave me more freedom in my senior year to not be stuck to a calendar, and that is why I spent a lot of time in here comparatively that year, and then that's sort of grown into wanting to work here and be more involved. I think the significance of establishing the space at what was a previously all-men's school is recognizing the achievements that women have made across these years and the impact that they've made, and then tying it to that Lasallian mission sort of brings the groups that originally founded it together with our mission too.
I think Manhattan College has really changed my life for the better in all parts of my life, really. Academically, I've just learned way more than I could ever anticipate about public health, and I think also just all the different offices on campus, like career development and the Center for Academic Success and all the organizations I'm part of, really just push you to be the best you can be. I think really just having these connections and all these people on campus who are willing to help if you ask, and even if you don't ask, people are always reaching out to help you. And I think that's the most important part of being a Jasper, really. As we always say, there's the community and the small community here on campus. Everyone's always willing to help, whether that be administration or your peers or coaches or anyone.
I think Manhattan College has done a really good job at instituting a variety of skills and a variety of places, from the Women's Center to campus ministry to the Holocaust Center. I think they offer a ton of spaces and a ton of opportunities to get involved, especially the WISE program. That was really, really instrumental, and I think teaching a lot about how to be a woman in the workplace and take those skills into every space you go to.
The purpose of the center was multifold, I don't know which one the word is, but part of it was supporting students in their journeys across the campus, whether that was as student leaders, as survivors, since it was started by survivors, or just as activists. And then the other was building those bridges between student life, academic affairs, etc. And the third was just supporting women in their roles wherever needed.
Women have to come into leadership roles a little differently than a man, just because of kind of our place in society and the roles we're kind of morphed into. So the Women's Center has been really instrumental in showing me how to be a woman and how to be a leader at the same time and how to maximize the two of those.
I think that the Lasallian Women and Gender Resource Center is really great as far as being a resource for women to feel comfortable going to. We do have one sorority on campus, and I do love my sisterhood, but I think that maybe having another option would be great for more just so women could have more options for things that they're that they could be interested in. But I would say that these two are definitely a start. There's a ways to go, but I think that we've started in a good place.
the thing I like about Manhattan College is it's very much like, it's a place for go-getters. So I've seen students over the 7 years I've been here like create new clubs, like Women in Business was just like created by a few ambitious people, right? And there's a lot of different things on campus, even if it's something that causes unrest on campus, whether people are upset about something and they want something changed, like students are trying to do that, right? They're trying to make this place and the world a better place. Having the opportunity to be a director at Manhattan College has definitely changed my life, and obviously like informed and impacted my ability to lead and the leader I am. But I think Manhattan College truly as an institution, when I got off the subway and I interviewed here, I just had that feeling that it was the right place for me. I love the mission of the organization. I love the size. I loved that it was like this urban school, but still had that small campus feel. It was just for me.
I think the staff and faculty are very, very welcoming of women leaders, and really urge do what they can to give women a platform on campus. I think with administration, it tends to be a little bit more of a fight. But I've definitely seen changes since I've been at Manhattan, and I've definitely seen more spaces on campus open up, but there is always room for improvement, and there is a need for an improvement on this campus.
So for any up-and-coming Manhattan College student, she's trying to come in and be a leader, I would say just do it. And again, like I said before, don't like let your own ideas of what leadership has to look like get in the way of you being a leader. Like, leaders are just people that want to organize others, influence others, meet goals, make impact.
I think the big thing to know is don't let these roles or don't let Manhattan change who you are at your core, because that is what you can hold on to when nothing's going right or when everything's going right. And then specifically, I would say find your home. So whether that is the Women's Center or that is other locations, find your home so you're not always in this search. And rely on those departments, centers, etc. for support. Don't do it alone.
I think college is the time to like try new things, and sometimes it's like trying new personas, like trying, giving yourself opportunity to like rebrand. Maybe who you were in high school was woman. Maybe you want to try different things. I just feel like it's important for us to look around and try new things and take ownership.